Cool.
Okay. Do you want to go in the camera and I go there, or vice versa?
Oh, whatever. It's more the audio, I think, really. Just
okay, well, if you face the mirror then, because you can see yourself, that's probably
sure.
the best way to do it. So let's just go through the first section. Let's make sure you're happy with the first section of Biu Jee, and then we'll go through the second section as well. To make that sharper, because now you know where stopping points are. There's no point in going slowly to it. You just go from point A to point B. Boom, relax. Boom. Not making it overly energetic, but just showing the precision that you've learned, kind of statement. When you do the cut, make sure you pull sharply back with the other arm, so it gives you more power in the turn. So it's that next pull back at it. Less, a little more. Drive it towards, that's it, drive it outwards. That's good.
I just did that side right, yeah.
When you do that one, when you do the after the Munsau here, try not to make it a circle. Point A to point B. That's it.
That's part one.
Yep. Double Munsau.
That side first, is it?
Yep. But turn that in a bit more.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you're not trying to capture it here. You're almost. What you're trying to do here effectively is drive the inside of the forearm forward. You're not stopping. You're intercepting. So it needs to have that. Go forward and find. Go forward and find. Go forward. If it's on an angle, and a lot of people do it on an angle because they think that they're blocking.
I'm thinking more jump sound-ish.
Well, jump again. This comes back to that conversation about a car as a car as a car. Jump sow is an energy. It's not a shape.
Yeah.
So jump sow. This is jump sow. This is jump sow.
Yeah.
That's a high jump sow, but that's called gan sow.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's not jump sow, and this is more the energy than the actual shape. Jump sow means sinking or sunk. So jump sow is about pressing the elbow forward and down and in the way. This is gan sow. Remember what I said about it's like cutting bamboo. It's got this slicing forward energy. So it's a slightly different. So it's called a high gan sow and a low gan sow. People go, oh, that's gan sow. How's that gan sow? Well, how's that car and how's that car? One's blue, one's red.
Yeah.
It's that sort of labelling that people get a bit mixed up with. So think about this. Forget the names. Think about the shape. This is going to cut forward, a bit like having a machete trying to cut the bamboo. So this cuts forward, and this slices forward and in with the elbow coming underneath it. Because if you imagine that punch coming, and I did that, that's not going to stop a punch because it's a point of contact. But the only way to stop a punch become a block, which is against that. I think what it wants to do is come forward, because by putting your elbow in the way, and I think I said to you before about controlling the centre line. If I slide halfway down that centre line, if I can control that point in space, unless you were extremely double jointed, your technique is being deflected away. It doesn't matter whether that's a pak sow, but it's a tarn sow, or in this case, it's a jump sow. By putting my elbow in close to the centre, on that line, it's forcing your punch to go from the shoulder where it's connected, but through that point. Okay, But what I don't want to do is have it where it's a wrist connection. It's an elbow connection.
So more forward than I was going. I was kind of going laterally.
A little bit across, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Even more.
Right.
Because if you think about the reason why you're doing it, and you're doing it for a very logical reason, you're thinking about the centre line that was, not the centre line that is. If you face me, that's the centre line you're worried about. That, when we have no opponent, we just take a straight line to the body. We know hooks, jab, cross, back fist, round, around. But eventually they're going to end up here. If they don't end up here, they're not going to hit you.
Yeah.
So in training, we always reference a centre line. And the reason why we can get what a lot of people don't understand is they go, oh yeah, but people don't ever punch in a straight line. I go, we've never said they do.
Yeah.
You know, if you throw a hook, boom, to there, okay, don't move. That is somebody else's straight punch if they were stood here.
Yeah.
And that's how I would treat it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Everything's a straight line punch because the forearm's two long straight bones. So it's always going to be a straight line punch, whether it's coming in from here, it's coming from here, it's coming in from here, or it's coming in from here. And I'm going to treat it as if the person was stood there from the defending of the punch point of view. The counter punch will go to the source wherever they're stood, I don't care. So that's why people go, oh, you're only trying against straight punches. Every punch is straight in our world. It's just the angle it's going in at that changes, I don't care. So in a form, when you have nobody, that's your reference line, because it's the mirror line in front of you. So that's what you're doing. So when you turn your double gansau, you only need to get to there. What you were doing is you were thinking about the centre line being slightly more on your centre line,
right, I see.
than actually on the centre line, because it's this centre line you're deflecting to there. And then that wrist wants to be the same, because it could be a lower one at the same. So what you'll find is that wrist and that wrist, you could say is in front of that shoulder, or you can say is in front of that hip. And if you look, I don't know if you can see yourself in the mirror, you might, if you shove you across a bit. And sometimes when you're training, get closer so that you're almost touching the mirror. Therefore that centre line becomes, the line down the middle of the mirror becomes a little bit more pertinent. Because when we're stood facing infinity, we tend to have we kind of feel that, oh, it must be here because it's in front of my nose. But when you have a reference line, which is why the dummy's so useful, you realise that having turned out the way, I just need to go back to the point I've vacated, which isn't in front of me, and it's not having to cross.
Yeah.
And that's why that's the benefit of training the dummy, is it teaches you to stop at the right point.
Yeah.
And the disadvantage of the dummy when people train it is they use the dummy to be a stopping point, and we need to use it to be a checking point. And the reason I say that is that you see people that do the dummy and they're still hitting it.
All over the internet.
And what they're doing is they're using the dummy to stop them at the right place. But they're not, but they're actually hitting it and letting it stop them.
Yeah.
And the problem is that when they're doing it without, they don't have that reference, they overcommit.
Yeah.
If you use it as a checkpoint, then when it's not there, I know the checkpoint because I've touched it.
Yeah.
So I'm using it as a checkpoint to confirm my positions, not the thing that creates my positions. And so that's where the dummy's worthwhile training on.
Yeah.
Okay. So same thing here. You see, if you just need to remind yourself that that's the second line. It's always going to be in front of that. Okay. So you can afford the low hand to be a little bit lower. What you want is the elbows to be overlapping, but not overlapping so much you're covering the same point in space twice.
Yeah. And
not underlapping to the point where you giving yourself a gap. So somewhere around there. And remember that double gansau is what I call an either-or technique. A lot of people go, oh yes, well, the problem with double gansau is that you're receiving with two hands. I've never seen anybody attacking the street like that.
No. Yeah.
It's an either or.
Yeah.
One of them will make contact. I cover the space, one makes contact, and whichever doesn't make contact, I follow through with.
Yeah.
So, same as Kwanzaa. It's always going to be an either or.
And in Chisai, could it be because there's 2 points of contact already as well?
Chisai is the exception because you've got hands here, and if you do a bong lap, maybe I've got 2 points of contact at that point in time.
Yeah.
But you can't keep those 2 point contact and do anything. You've got to disengage.
Yeah.
So whichever one disengages, the other one becomes the either or.
Yeah.
Because so we said, well, I've got 2 points of contact. I said, well, keep them. And they go, I can't hit you. I know exactly. One of them's got to disengage, and the moment the one disengages, that's the one I learned. The hand that's freed is the one I learned to spring with.
Yeah.
So it's no different to a person. It's no different to a dummy.
Yeah.
But you will have that momentary two-handed contact, particularly in Kwanzaa. Not necessarily in Gansai. You might do double Gansai in Chisai just to give yourself, where is it? Oh, there it is. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But Kwanzaa is often One, because so for example, when you do a lap out, I've got that. But straight away I want to go out into, I'm not going to stand there and admire the view.
Yeah.
So it's a momentary 2-point contact for me to decide which is the best hand. And either I create the disengagement or you disengage. Either way, I'm going to spring forward. So it's still an either or in my book.
Yeah. So Quansai feels more like it's more like you've determined to do it. You've chosen to do it. Let's say. Is that fair to say?
I think Quansai is more of an accident.
Okay.
It's a result. So the way to think about Quansai, if you face me and put a high Tan Sao and a low Bong Sao, at the moment that's neither one or the other. It's just, I could have said, give me a high Gan Sao, give me a low Gan Sao, but people recognise Tan and Bong as the shape. But until somebody makes contact, you don't know what technique that is. If I make contact here, you want to deflect me, that becomes Quan Sao. If I make contact here, that becomes Gan Sao. With this, we turn to deflect, knowing that this is coming in behind to give support if we need it. The reason why you don't turn with Gan Sao is if you turn with Gan Sao now, there's nothing coming in behind to protect you.
I see.
Because that hand's already passed.
Yeah.
So that's why that goes forward where Quan Sao turns.
I get you.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
Okay. Same as we don't turn Bong Sao.
Yeah.
Bong Sao goes forward because if it turns, you've exposed a weakness that you can't easily cover.
Yeah.
You can now, you're doing Biu Jee because you've got that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have that.
You don't choose to do that though. Well,
No, I mean, you shouldn't choose to do it because you're presenting a weakness.
Yeah.
And how arrogant do you have to be in a street fight to present a weakness? Say, go on, go for it. Because I know what I'm going to do about it. And it's like, why would you do that? That's like dropping your trousers and waving, dangling naked testicles. Going, go on, give it a kick and I can take it. No, you don't represent weakness.
Although that'll put me off fighting the guy that did that.
Well, I remember seeing a YouTube video of a guy, a comedian, and he was like walking down the street and bumped into this guy and then drops his trousers. He's got his little G string on. He's like, and the guy's like, oh no, I'm off. yeah, that'd be my reaction. Thank you very much. Okay, so double Gan Sao, forward, and then very deliberately we rotate this way, so we cover that centre line again, which is very different to the knives. On the knives, you actually cut it inside, because on the knives you're blocking.
So it's kind of passing.
So it kind of goes from here. Okay, if you put your punch forward, it's easy way to do it. Put a punch forward there. Okay, you think about that next punch coming in, and I do that. I'm going to chop, aren't I? So what I do is I corkscrew up the centre.
Almost like a mini carousel.
Yeah, and if you punch again, it comes up the centre, and it comes up the centre, and it comes up the centre, and it comes up the centre. Because getting that elbow in is the key.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas with the knives, you do it this way. Because as we did last week, you're hitting a knife versus a weapon is used against a weapon. So the only way you're going to stop a weapon is to meet it with an equal force that neutralises the force. That's not the same with a person.
Yeah.
We can't slide up in the same way with the weapon because there's no sensitivity, there's no feeling, there's no what they call Lutz Out Chung, the springing forward action, because there's no sensitivity.
Yeah.
So it's just to knock the energy out of it. So when you see people do the double Gan Sao like this, they're mimicking what they've seen people do on the knives.
Yeah.
For all the wrong reasons.
The dummy stuff I see online, it's like they don't get the idea of sticking. They break contact so often.
Yeah, and it's a hard one because it's who am I to say what's wrong or right for somebody else?
Yeah.
I try not to do that because it's not. It doesn't matter if I think they're right or wrong. What matters is what I get out of it.
Yeah.
And if they get something out of doing that, you know what? Fine. Where it comes for me is the fact that I look at the application of it. And you see them teaching, you got to intercept, and then when they teach something, they don't do that. They break the rules. They sort of teach that when a punch comes, you want that Tan Sao to be nice and tight, and then when they do it, they go on the dummy, they're huge. It's like, well, why do that? And it's the same questions I remember asking when I was doing my karate days. I was like, yeah, but you wouldn't do a kick to the head. Oh no, we wouldn't do that in a fight. Why am I training it? Why am I wasting my time doing that when that's going to work? Oh, you wouldn't stand like that, you'd stand like that. Well, why don't you stand like this to start with then?
Yeah.
And that was all, and it's not that I know better, it's just that was my view. Why am I doing it?
I did Taekwondo before I did Wing Chun many years ago. Once I started doing Wing Chun, it just was ridiculous, the stuff we were doing.
Yeah. But and it's what you've got to do, and you have to you have to acknowledge things are what they are. I look at karate and go, it's a traditional art. It was, you know, the Moshigeri roundhouse kicks and jumping kick. Great for taking samurai warriors off horses and stuff. You don't get many of that in Birmingham nowadays. But as a traditional art, you know, it's produced some great people. And somebody who's trained in karate is probably, and trained up to black belt level, is probably going to be a better person in self-defense than somebody who never trained.
Yeah.
So it is always advantageous. But if I want to be a racing driver, I wouldn't go around in a pedal cart.
No.
I'd want to drive a racing car, you know, and learn the skills. So I look at it and go, well, why? If that's how you do it, why don't you do it like that? Mm. And the problem I have with a lot of the stuff is that they're so stuck in this little, but what about, you know, they come up with ideas that aren't related to practicality. So I feel if we're not careful, it's losing it. And as a professional bodyguard, that was the only reason I ever got into it, so I've never lost that.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't work, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah.
You know, there'll come a point in time, I'm sure, age-wise or mobility-wise, maybe I physically can't do it, but I can still teach the principle somebody else can do it, and it'll still be true. But yeah, some of the things I say, I despair. But it's not for me to, you know, people go, why don't you go out there and put YouTube? Well, it's not for me to educate. They think they're right. I'm not going to change their mind.
No.
You know, I remember doing there was a martial arts show at the NEC. I was persuaded by the martial art magazine owner who put on the show to pay for a stall. So we had this 1 metre by 3 metre stall. It cost me £3,000 for a weekend. I did it 2 years running, and then the third year I said, look, there's no point. I said, you know, my experience is that nobody's travelled from Swansea doing karate, the local karate school. They come to our stall, they've looked at our Wing Chun and go, I'm giving up my karate for 17 years, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to travel all the way to, but no, they're going to stay, you know, they love their art. Nobody ever changed. Nobody went to a martial art show and changed their art. So having a promotional stall when I'm not a businessman was nonsense. And it's the same with it, you know, Wing Chun people that do it a certain way believe they're doing it right. Nobody goes out there and believes they're doing it wrong. I don't think anyway. There's a few people that are a little bit off the
I guess
wall.
they justify it by saying the conditioning or something. Is that?
Yeah, that's what they've seen. This is what they've seen. They've seen somebody do it, and therefore, if that person does it, must be right. You know, and this is the problem with teachers. If you're not teaching it accurately and correctly, then you're missing out. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people, they train with an instructor, and I see it in Hong Kong a lot. I go to Hong Kong, they train for a little bit. They've trained for 3 weeks, so they come back and they've learned a bit of stuff. So they add a bit of stuff that might be quite good to the stuff that the X amount of years of training they've done for that. You know, I've seen, you know, instructors, you know, we talked about something, I won't mention name, but you talked about something last time we were here. And, you know, they've gone out to Hong Kong and, I'm going to train with this Hong Kong instructor. But they're not actually teaching what that person teaches, because they've gone out for a week, they've done a bit of training, they've aligned themselves to that person, but all the stuff that they're currently teaching is based on what they had. So it's 99% historical stuff and 1% new, with they've added on top. And I guarantee that 1% gets sucked into the 99%, not the other way around. You know, one of my students said to me, we were just chatting on Wednesday, how come you've been to Hong Kong 52 times? You were an instructor of 10 years when you went out first. And I said, but how do we retain that knowledge? How do you keep it going? How do I, you know, you don't get it I was out there for 6.5 weeks, it was an awful lot. But I came back and I'm like, there's a lot of stuff I didn't cover. So I then started questioning the stuff that I had that I didn't cover. Luckily we covered a lot, but then I went back out 6 months later to do another 6.5 weeks, and I got corrected on the same stuff I'd learnt the first time because it wasn't embedded. And that's difficult, you know? So to me, I probably spend more time teaching people to understand than I do drilling the shit out of them. So I think, well, you're an adult, you can drill at home. Yeah. You don't need me to do that.
If you understand why you're doing it, you do it better, right?
I think so. That's not the same for everybody. A lot of people just go, no, just got to do it and condition your body. Well, okay, that's your view. You know, and it's a view, and it's not for me to say you're wrong. I just think if you understand it, I know if I understand it, I'm more motivated to train it.
Same.
I don't know why I'm doing it.
It's the same with music.
I'm bored.
If I understand the principle of the theory, I can apply it. If I don't understand the principle of the theory, I feel like I'm just copying by rote, and it doesn't work for me.
No, absolutely. Yeah. You know, well, if you think about music, I mean, how many strings are on your guitar? 6. Right. How many tunes do you know? Yeah, exactly. But you know, how many tunes in the world are made from those 6 strings?
Yeah.
It's no different. We've got 5 core techniques, but we're not limited. But if those 5 core techniques are faulty, you're screwed. So double ganso. I'll let you have the mirror in front again. So just make sure that look at it that you're bringing it in and you're cutting in forward. That's it. And then you steal the centre line back again. No. Do it again.
Oh, we're thinking this now.
Still do it again. So do it. Go back. What you did was you brought this hand inside. So you went from here, and you did that.
Right.
But it's the one thing you don't want to.
Is that more knife?
That's the
So
knife.
that's where I've got it from, probably.
Yeah. This wants to cut inside and drive forward. That's it. Empty-handed, you want that elbow forearm coming in and cutting. And it's easy. Once you start learning the knives, it does start, if you're not careful. One of the reasons why people go, oh, you know, do the knives, do the drumming. Well, the thing is, the knives do things differently for different purposes. And they contradict some of the hand techniques because you've got knives in your hand.
Yeah.
You know? I remember not long ago, there was an instructor came and visited me, lovely guy, and he was like, I want to learn the knives. So he said, yeah, but these knives, you know, so I've been taught to do this ganso. I said, well, you know, this sort of low block. So I said, why? In case somebody kicked you. I went, go on and kick me.
Yeah.
It was like, but I said, well, you're answering your own question. Why don't we have defence against kicks with a pair of, I've got a big pair of machetes in my hand. Are you really going to kick me?
I kind of wanted to not do the knives for such a long time because I felt like, well, I'm never going to carry them out with me. But it's now I'm realising the benefits of the knives that
the knife has great benefit.
Yeah. Because I feel like, you know, Wing Chun has this traditional component to it, and I was like, is that part of that? But actually I can see the benefit of
I tell you what, when you start doing double ganso with the knives, you learn a bit more about spatial awareness very quickly. Because a number of people cut the inside of their arms and chop them, drop the things, and you know it has a really good benefit as long as you know what you can and can't get from it, and that's the key.
Yeah. It's
knowing what you can get and knowing what you're not getting. You're not getting knife versus knife, knife versus pole, because there's no point.
No.
He's not going to teach you. A lot of instructors have pole versus pole and knife versus knife, and it's like, it's not wrong, but it's wasteful for me. It's like, well, I'm not going to use that, and it's not giving me anything that empty hand training or understanding the movements won't do for me.
I think some people maybe are drawn to the kind of aesthetic of it and the romanticism of it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think there's also an element of they want to look like they know more than the person next to them as well,
Yeah.
which isn't relevant. No, it's not wrong to teach that. It's I'm sure 400 years ago when it was a weapon, you trained pole versus pole because you're going to face somebody with a spear and you know what? That's fine.
That's what Aikido was originally, wasn't it? Like a way to disarm a sword.
Yeah.
But now it's not that.
Not many. Well, I was going to say not many swordsmen, but the world's
Yeah. Don't know how it's going to go.
So we're here. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then you get this cut back. Okay. Now that has a circle, but it's not a circle. It's more a cut back, and it is just cutting to the centre line. I can't tell you why they don't just cut back to the centre line with Bong Sao, for example, or cut back with something else. I wasn't there when it was developed, and it's not for me to change. To me, it represents a principle, and once I understand the principle, I can cut back with any hand. I don't try. If somebody comes at you, I'm not going to try and remember what form taught me. I'm going to remember how to cover my body from getting hit.
And do you? I guess you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Cut back, steal the centre line back.
I've got a question about fist placement. I've always thought, like in a cinema without everything, up as high as possible and pull your shoulders back, or does it not matter where it is on the body?
Does it matter? No, not really. In the world of things, it matters to teachers more than it matters to students. So nobody wants a martial arts school to look sloppy. You got one person here, it just looks shit. Is there any great benefit in it? There is nominal benefit in it. If you put it up too high, you tense your shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have them too low, you round your shoulders. One of the things that we suffer from in Wing Chun is we round our shoulders an awful lot where we lose them in. So there's a thing called the Alexander brace. Have you ever heard of the Alexander technique? Alexander brace. It's like a figure of 8 elastic band that goes round, and what it does is it basically pulls when people are.
Oh yeah.
It pulls your shoulder back.
Yeah.
And I kind of go, well, you know, it probably does a bit of that. And I'm saying probably because I'm not trying to say somebody's taught me this.
Yeah.
This is observation and analysis rather than that's the answer.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel that that's part of it. Someone's told me that you're bringing it back so you can open the chest cavity so you can breathe a bit deeper.
So my rationale for it was that it makes your shoulders want to hunch up, so you have to consciously relax your shoulders down. And I feel like when I'm doing it, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm learning to not like bring my shoulders up high.
So I mean, I had a long conversation with Sifu, and Sifu was of the same thing. Look, I'm not going to say it's this.
Yeah.
I'm saying that this could be a benefit of doing it. But the first thing he said to me is that you know, if you do that, you're lifting up. Although you don't know it, you're lifting with your shoulders. There's no need to lift with your shoulders. So if you look in the mirror, can you see your shoulder? You do it again. You lift, and then you've got to consciously relax. So if you're going to lift it and then relax it, why lift it in the first place? So what happens is a lot of people bring their arm back to here, and then they lift. Okay, but why not bring your arm back as a natural pivot and just take the elbow back far enough that it draws the arm to the right place? Why do something you've got to undo?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I do like go up and then down, or whether I try and do that anyway. But I see some people do this. I don't know whether I should correct them or not. Let them do it.
I'd put it there, and this is the martial arts side of the martial. You know, at the end of the day, you know, nobody walks around like this in the street. But we are a martial art. There is a. So yes, it's important. No, it's not. It does nothing of any significant value. People tell you relax your shoulder. People tell you bring your arm back for shoulder. And it's like, and how much benefit is that? Really, and again, it's me looking at the practical side, not the art side. How much benefit is it? But then at the same time, as a martial arts school, do you want people all different? Part of the martial art, any martial art, in fact, taekwondo, karate, jiu-jitsu, aikido, whatever martial art you do, I would say that the skill, beyond self-defense and uniqueness, the skill of martial art is for the person training it to train their body to do what it's told. To put the skill of Wing Chun, for example, is not to do Tan Sao punch and hit somebody in the head or stop them hitting you in the head. It is the ability to put my hand Tan Sao there and know that that's in the right place. So the skill of self-defense is the ability to put your body in the right place at the right time, of the right shape, for the right reason, for a situation that's outside of your control. So when we're training in the classroom, it's inside your control, but when you use it, it's outside your control. What I don't want is a punch comes in and undercommit because I'm not used to it, or overcommit and get smacked because I'm not used to it, or overturn. I need to know that my Tan Sao is where I want it to be, and it doesn't overshoot. So we talk about one of the most important things in Wing Chun is speed, but speed is made up of so many different things. So part of our learning in the early stages is about relaxation, because if your muscles tense, it slows you down. So relax the muscle groups off. That makes you faster. But it only makes you faster in the extension of the arm. But if that technique is also making a huge circle, it's not faster. So the direction of the technique is also, the shortest is to 2 points. But then you could have a really loose muscle group, a really fast acceleration and Tan Sao, and you could have a really good understanding of the centre line. So you do that, but your arm overextends. So then you've got waste time coming back. Or your arm undercommits, then you've got to do it again. So the stopping point becomes key. So there's things like elements of speed is how quickly can I recognise the threat and process the information to choose the tool set I want. And the more I drill it, the more chance of that tool being available to me. The less I drill it, the more I'm like, which one? Which is what you see in beginners in Chi particularly. So there's threat recognition, thought processing, tool selection before I do anything. Okay. Then you've got distance judgment and actually recognising the threat as the threat. Is it a hook? Is it a jab? Is it a cross? You've got that kind of element going on. That's part of the tool selection. But then if you select all of that and you still overcommit or undercommit or overturn, or your technique's not fully understood, you're still going to be too slow. So speed is about putting your hand in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That's what forms do for you, because they have no threat in front of them. So you can train it over and over, and that's why these movements are really important, because you're learning to just stop at that point, which is why when people hit the dummy, they're not doing it right, because they're using the dummy to stop them. Without the dummy, they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
So these things that make us that are about key to learning for me is about taking command of your body. I want my hand to go there. I want my other hand to go here, and I want my body to sit the weight down like that. The reason happens to be a punch, but the punch is not always there. But if I can train my body to be that precise all the time, and I would say that this is part of that. It's a silly little thing, but you know, people. So I've had this question. Oh, I see some people do this. You know, why can't I do that? Well, why would you want to do it when you do that? You know,
and part of this is bringing your hands back to be the furthest from being out, right, as well. Partly, so you've got the full range of movement when you're doing the form and so on. Is that?
I think it's just art, because your hands will never be there.
No.
Your hands will be here. You know, they're never going to be there. I can't think of any situation
No.
you're ever going to stand like that, or even be in that position. I don't want people bringing a hand back to go forward.
No.
So to me, that's a nothing. So I place very little emphasis on it, because it's not giving you any massive value. But at the same time, we're an art. And if somebody puts a hand down there, what's the difference between doing that and doing that? Why, if 10 people do that, do you think that's how? Why would you do that? Why don't you just copy that? It's no different to you as far as you're concerned.
No.
You know?
I just think in the form when we do tan, like we're doing it from as far back. So it's making it more difficult in a way. If we just did it from there, it'd be less of a path to go through. Is that part of
it? Does teach you the path, yeah. It does teach you to cover early. But there are nominal. But then, if your hand's down here, the tan says wrong as well.
Yeah.
So part of this movement here is making sure that when they start the tarn sound, first thing they do is get that bone vertically, because in getting that bone vertically, you're presenting body cover before you start. Whereas if the arms are down here, then tarn sound will always be, it's no tarn sound yet. You look in the mirror, there's no body cover, there's no body cover, and then suddenly, oh, there's body cover, but now it's coming inwards. Where from here, if you look in the mirror, by just keeping the arm, that angle exactly the same, and just pivoting that bone to perpendicular, you've already got the right amount of body cover. Now as you travel, you protect your body all the way through the movement. So there are little things, little advantages, but it's not a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, people say, should I stand like this or stand like that? I don't know. How are you going to stand? Just stand like that if you like.
I think there was a time where a lot of us were dropping our hands between techniques and drilling. We were almost drilling, dropping our hands. Yeah. So we kind of consciously got out of that then as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the key to martial art, any martial art I would say, is to learn the core and then learn how to adapt it to suit you. Like playing guitar, you know, you learn chords, but that's not a song.
No.
You have to learn, and if you're going to make your own tune, you can't be stick to somebody else's rhythm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be caught that they all seem to want to sue each other for that. That's my tune. Is it? You know, I only got 6 strings. How many different ways can I do it? So I think it's that working it from the this is the classroom type of way, which is your core element, into this is how I would do it. Using the core elements, not changing the core elements, is key.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Anyway, so we've got double gan sao. So mun sao. So again, the difficulty is that a lot of people, when they drop the wrist to do a mun sao, they drop it. They also drop the lead hand. So this doesn't need to drop, 'cause it's not a pivot. It just needs to drive outwards. And you want to think as that other hand, as the mun sao comes in, it won't become a packed out. You've got to cover your face.
Okay.
99% of attacks will be to your face.
And are you looking before you do the runs out?
1, 2, 3. And that kind of is what we bring from Chun. Chun teaches you to look as or slightly before you do a technique, which a lot of people don't. And again, mun sao that's the technique we call mun sao, which is the example, but it's just an example. So if you can do it vertically, you can do it 45, 33, 0 angle, every angle.
I feel like my back sows aren't too choppy, but my mun sows definitely need bringing in like that. Do the fingers? I know
No.
the energy's going that way.
Just almost like you're pointing to the wall. Don't want floppy fingers.
Okay.
I tend to keep mine I actually tend to keep that. I tend to forget I've got a hand, and I think about the end of the wrist because it's the end of the wrist I'm pointing.
Right.
Don't let it do that.
Yeah, I think I was doing that.
Yeah. And some people point with the fingers too much. I'll tend to do it. I'm thinking about that bone as you're doing it, as your Munsal's coming out. I'm thinking about this bone, okay, and I'm driving that forward. And in doing so, I tend to maybe just turn the wrist, but I don't make it a conscious. Not like I'm turning it.
Yeah.
I'm just not pointing.
So the on the part, is it?
I would actually say it's that part there.
Ah, okay.
Because that's the bit you're going to hit with or cover with. These just happen to be there. They're attached. You know, you kind of want it for your work, but you don't really need it for Wing Chun quite so much.
And then the cover is that.
Yeah. Cover to cover. Same again. And if you pushed out, cut back. Pushed out, cut back. Pushed out, cut back.
So start with the left, obviously.
Now again, you'll see some people turn, some people go straight. I was taught not to turn. Turning isn't wrong. It's just, again, it's the same thing. The people that turn go, why don't you turn? And the people that don't turn go, why do you turn? And whichever you do, someone's going to ask, you know.
Because I guess this is normally more forward, right? In front of our
It's
bodies.
yeah. But there's a Wing Chun saying that if the attack comes from the side, your centre line's the shoulder, which is what that's part of. So it gives you the ability to cover here to here, here to here. Okay, and we spent a lot of time doing this, so we've got Faksal which covers this way, we've got Gumsal which covers this way, now we've got Munsal which covers between the two. So it's just giving you variety. So some people twist with it. I've seen in Hong Kong them turning with it. I wasn't taught to turn.
I felt like I'm thinking with my knees, I shouldn't be doing that either, right? The knees are kind of planted as they are.
Yeah. That's how we do it.
And is that like snap it back as well? And then I know Sifu does. You said you do the same movement, but you have a different thought intention with each one.
So there's two concepts you're trying to address. If you're here and somebody pushes you out, if they stop at that point and they try and hit, I can cover. If you push it out a bit further and now you hit, I'm not going to cover in time. So there comes a point at which sticking is the right thing, and then there's a stopping point. It tends to be when all the four wrists are in line. As soon as it goes outside the line of the shoulder, the chances of me sticking and covering, because I'm already losing it, is slim. So at that point, I could stick and cover. But if you push out a little bit further, I've got to let it go. So some people practice the letting it go from day one. Some people only practice sticking from day one. And I was like, well, I want to do both. So stick to that point, and at that point, let it go, come back. Stick to that point, let it go. So don't do the Hun Sao early. Turn, cover. Some people I've even seen, I'm doing a hit, and you're like, and that's because they look at it and don't understand these things. You're just being stick, release, back. Stick, release, back. Stick, release, back. And the only thing you should see is that at the moment, my wrist is higher than my elbow, and as I get to that point, it goes parallel. Because I can't release it. I do that, and I do not ever want to do that.
No.
So you just let it go. So it's very much a little cut of the wrist.
I've got a habit of if people push me outwards, of going under.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that may be a bad habit. I'm not sure.
No, not really.
Okay.
It's reading the scenarios. If you think about how we change in Bong Sao, if you do changes,
that's
exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So there's a time and a place. And it's all about reading. You know, this isn't saying this is what you do. This is saying what you could do. And this is the thing you have to understand about Wing Chun. Wing Chun never goes, do that. As soon as you've done that, you put it in a little box that's unique to that scenario. You've got to try and remember the scenario. It's a tool.
Okay.
You know, I could be here, and you could push, and I'll do the same thing. I'm not restricted. So when people go, oh, well, Hun sounds really not very useful, I go, it's brilliant. You know, I can be here, I can be there, and if a punch is coming in, I can redirect that punch. I can be here, and that punch is coming in, I can redirect that punch. But equally, you can punch, you punch again, and I can do it there. You know, or I can be here, and there it is. Do you know what I mean? It's. But I wouldn't try it unless it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. I guess I've always tried to be like soft with my Wing Chun, and it feels like that's more harder, but it's not. It's just that I haven't been confident using techniques.
It's knowing when to apply energy and knowing when not to. You know, and that is the hardest thing. I think we talked about it last time. Sung lick and dung lick.
Yeah.
Energy on, energy off.
Yeah.
It's knowing that when I'm here. Okay, let's get some position. I'll go there. If you come forward, I could just redirect it. If you come forward, I can take control of it.
Yeah.
I can pull, knowing that you're going to give me that hand. Thank you. You know, and at the same time, I can pass it. And what it does is it gives me, and at the same time, you come forward, I can ignore it. And what it does is give me options that you can't. Even another Wing Chun person go, I know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
No, you don't know what I'm going to do. Because, you know, I can be here, do a pack sound, do a pack sound, and I have the ability to swap between things. And it's like, well, so when people do packs on me, they're like, is he going to, I don't know. And that uncertainty is brilliant.
Yeah. They've lost before they do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so what I'll do is I'll often get to here, pack sound, again, you know, and it won't be there. Or, sorry,
yeah.
I'll counter it.
Yeah.
Because I would see energy like waves on a beach. When you come forward, both your hands came forward.
Yeah.
What you didn't know is that when you take your pack sound back, that momentarily also comes back with it. So when you go pack sound, when you retract your pack sound, do it again.
Right, I'm overthinking now.
There. Do it again. There.
Yeah.
Your energy both. So what happens? I'll do it to you. You went bang. But you didn't leave your hand there and take pack sound back. You went bang, and what I felt in this hand was that. And that retraction of that meant that also retracted force. That's why I counter pack sound.
Are you saying, I don't think you are saying this necessarily, but are you saying I should keep that energy forward with a failed pack dart? Like,
yes, but don't necessarily use the word energy.
okay.
Think of it as structure. Okay? When you push this wall, fingertips, you don't feel much resistance. When you push with your whole hand, you feel really strong. But it's not pushing back.
Yeah.
It's just there. I mean, physicists will argue that you know, there's a resistance force and it's leaning forward with gravity. Oh, well, shit. But the point is that when you do pack sound, I'm not using muscles. What I'm using is the skeleton. You pack sound in, and I'm putting the elbow in place.
Try not to put it back now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I leave my hand there, but look at this.
Yeah.
Do it again. See how soft the hand is?
Yeah.
So because the hand is soft, the muscles are soft, what you're actually pack sounding is the end of the bone. So I use the structure, and that allows me then to, because my arm's not I've not locked it out. I've not used muscles in the sense of locked my muscle group out.
No.
You know, when you do pack sound on this, it doesn't move because it's got structure. So I look at the human skeleton and go, well, how do I get that? So if you put time sample, for example, okay, you've got tension in your hand, turn it off. It does nothing. Because when I press here, all you need to do to be safe is not allow that angle to change and that angle to change. And as long as you don't fall over and your stance is there, then the force applied here will now go down the bones into there. Now relax your hand. Because you don't need soft, even softer. Switch, don't even think about time so relax the thumb as well. Completely switch the hand, thumb off as well. Everything.
It is off.
Let's turn it over. Do it that way up. Relax. Even more. Go on. Complete. I mean, absolutely soggy soft. You don't need the hand.
I'm not doing anything with the hand. That's
okay. No, but can you feel that? So you can be completely relaxed.
Yeah.
What's happening is by doing a little bit of work in your triceps and fixing the length as opposed to trying to resist me, then because the tricep connects to here and the tricep connects to here, if that doesn't elongate, that angle can't change. That can't change. So the force is now going down the bone, up the bone, into the skeleton, and it's now going down towards the floor. To the point where, and I do this with beginners, and I say, okay, let me show you something. So what I want you to do is shift your stance so you've got one leg lead. Now lift your leg off the floor. Put it down, swap legs. Lift your leg off the floor. Because you look, what I think one of the byproducts of Wing Chun that people don't appreciate is it teaches you to redirect force down to the ground. Very easily. And that, when you're playing Shiso, what I do to people, I'll just pick it up from the ground. And then I'll go soft. And then I'll come back up from the ground. And I'll just keep drilling. I'm not pushing, I'm just coming from the floor upwards.
Yeah.
And using that drive upwards. So when I'm doing Munsao, I have a connection point here, And although it's going that way, it is also coming from the floor.
Yeah.
Gansao comes from the floor. Biu comes from the floor. This Biu comes from the floor. Everything connects. Chun comes from the floor. Always from the floor. Lifting from the floor. Connected to the floor. So, and I'm using the skeleton. Now when you start using the skeleton, you can switch off muscle groups you don't need.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's what packs out, for example, energy is. I'm soft here, but you packs out, and I just put the connection on for a split second.
Yeah.
But it's skeletal. It's nothing more than that. If I adjust at all, and I'll do it on the inside, it's the easy way to do it. If I'm here, do a packs out. If I stay there, that packs out's going to work. If when you do that, I turn the elbow in. All I'm doing is aligning that bone. Your energy is now going up that bone. I've got a whole body behind it now. But here, I didn't.
Yeah.
But it looks like this. And it's that. Oh.
Yeah.
So when you do fuksao, that's what you do. When you do double gansao, that little muscle twitch is it.
Yeah.
It's an alignment of a skeleton. That's why gansao works, because gansao may not be taking a resisting force that way, it can be trying to resist force that way. So it's that. If you had it there, you've got an odd structure.
Yeah, does this relate to the idea of that line through your tricep and bicep?
Always.
I've been trying to think about that. I've been trying to rationalise the difference between tan and Biu. Because I know that sometimes you might take a punch with Biu, you might take it with a tan.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that kind of pronation, supination with the forearm change in terms of that? Because I know your tricep and bicep are pretty much, maybe it go out slightly, but it's like pretty much still in the
So
same
what
space.
you've got to think about is, you're exactly right about that, but also now think about the bone between them. When it's a hook, all you're doing is using the triceps to control that angle. So the force is now taken down by the bone, even if it's connected here. Because it wouldn't work there, because now
Collapses, yeah.
the angle's wrong.
Yeah.
So that's why that is just an inverted tansao. But tansao will turn it in because I'm going to deflect. So the force now for connection, a lot of it's going that way, but some of it's going that way. But a hook isn't. A hook coming around the problem, so you turn the bone into the line of the structure.
Right. And against a straight punch then, using Biu versus tan, is it that Biu is kind of going forward whereas tan comes with you? Is
Effectively, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Biu can receive your punch. Biu can receive here, and it's got that deflection on it.
Yeah.
And that might be enough. But if you're still driving in, I tuck the elbow in.
Yeah.
Or I utilise it another way.
Yeah.
Either way.
Sorry, this has come out of nowhere now, but at the beginning I asked a question about bong sao.
Okay.
And the question was kind of almost like they get tan sao, pulling it that way,
Yeah.
but they didn't understand why you raise the elbow if you're directing the force this way. One way I kind of think about tan and bong, you can tell me if I'm completely wrong, is I think almost that if I feel the force going sort of more that way, I'm letting it go this way. If I feel it going this way, I let it roll that way. And his issue was with the kind of rolling of the elbow up. I think he was thinking of like doing it almost with the elbow down. So, sorry, this is
That's okay. So put your tansao forward. Okay. Let me stand here and press in that direction.
I want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So try and think what else you could do instead. Okay. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's Biu Jee. That recovers from the problem.
Ah, yeah, okay.
They've got tan, bong, pak sao, and jump sao to play with, and that's crossing. So what's the best block in the world?
Not be there.
So I'm aiming there, so you're going to turn. When you turn, what you want to do is you want to control and stick, don't you?
Yeah.
So when you turn,
I just want to do that.
what's going to keep them out if you don't put bong sao up? What stops me?
Yeah.
So you invert it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Because they're aiming to hit you. So a person will always aim, nobody aims to miss. So you get your student, you go, okay, there's the thing, turn tansao. Brilliant, right. And then you get them to say, right, where am I now? Oh, you're over here, right, push towards me. Best block in the world is what?
Get out of the way.
You get them to turn, don't do bong
So am I
sao,
turning out, you turning?
you turn, but just do tansao. But no, turn away from the other way. And then you go, okay, that's fine. You've affected the miss.
Yeah.
What's between you and them now? So what stops them doing this?
Yeah.
But if you invert your arm as they go and you stick with it, then now you've got two bones protecting you again.
Yeah. That's good. use that.
It's just that contact, and of course bomb sound can be low as well.
Yeah.
You know, so you could be here, just put your punch up, no high. Let's say you drive in low as well. So no, just push, and you do that turn. And goes, well, what's going to stop you now? But here, okay, let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or probably another way of thinking about it is get them to do this, okay, and go, okay, what if they don't push? Don't react to it. What if they lapse out? What are you going to put in the middle now? Where's your time side gone? Well, no. But if you lift your elbow, you've got the bridge.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's just little things about just tuning into the, you know, because you get by with a million questions. That's the beauty of teaching. That's the beauty of having to think on your feet. And it's where, if we're not careful, Wing Chun goes wrong. Because people go, oh yeah, but you could, and that's where this where the stupidity comes from. They start, instead of going, lodging it through and asking the question, they just come up with the first answer they've got.
Yeah.
And they're giving a reason to a student who remembers that answer, but that answer is not based on logic, it's based on like rip and panic in the instructor's brain and going, oh, it's probably this. And before you know it, they're teaching it.
Yeah, I benefit from not being an instructor, so I can say I don't know and feel like it doesn't matter if I don't know, because I'm not teaching you, I'm a peer. So that's
I always take the cut. I always say to the people that are teaching in the class and helping out and working with juniors, if you like, is I take the same approach I would take in an interview, which is just a really good question. Leave it with me, and I'll come back to you.
Yeah,
and I do.
I preface things with, I think it's this. I'll check with Chris, or check with Steve or whatever. Yeah, yeah. That I always think of. People look at these shapes and I guess they think they're kind of very rigid and they don't know why they're doing it necessarily. And I always think of that kind of, which way is the force coming at you?
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Because when we drill in lines, obviously sometimes when the people feed the punch, they've been antagonistic because they think, oh, I can, if I punch him in a different way, he can't do it.
Yeah.
But we're drilling Tandar, so it's like we're not helping the person. And sometimes I think people then try and force hand style.
It's funny actually, because that's something that I've just put in the new book.
Oh yeah.
And it's what I call learning backwards. Okay? Because what a lot of people do is, as you say, you're trying to learn Tan Sao. Okay? And that's what you want to learn. But then they throw a hook when you're trying to learn Tan Sao. But what they're doing is they're asking the wrong question. For the answer. The problem is, this is your focus, not what do I do about that?
Yeah.
So, in our training, normally somebody asks you a question, you find the right answer. The problem is, we've got the answer, we need the right question. You know, you go into the kitchen and you find an orange. You look for a tool that's going to feel the orange. You don't go to the kitchen and find a knife and go, fuck me, I need an orange.
Yeah. There's a learning coaching approach called ecological drilling. Have you heard of this? And it's based on almost like making it a game, almost like you've got a set of invariants that you can't change, and that could be elbow distance is probably good. Like you can't let the elbow go back. There's an incoming force. What do you do? And it's like getting a person to almost work it out for themselves. You kind of steer them. And I guess this is like, there's two ways of looking at it, I suppose. You teach Tandar, so you have to say what the right question is, like you say. But then maybe you can offer them, like, what would you do if I do this though? And then they've got to think of using the rules of like fixed elbow distance and that subject chain and so on and so forth. They can almost like develop an understanding innately. And I think sometimes when we drill too much, it's almost like we're losing that ability to think for ourselves.
Yeah, and I think drilling is good for a warm up, and it's good for a little bit of repetition to strengthen neural pathways, but it's not something that I do a lot.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of drilling because it just gets people to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's all they know.
Yeah.
And so I'm making a big point of sort of saying that we're learning it backwards. We start with the answer and look for the question. We need the right question.
Yeah.
Because we need the question to bring out the right answer. Whereas most people, they go, oh well, how to throw a hook, what technique? Oh, you can do this, this, and this. Yeah, but if you're only learning that, and they throw, and then they throw a low punch, you can't stop it. Yeah. And it's not that Tanza doesn't work.
It's to say, the biggest one for me is turning punch versus a punch. When the person then starts punching like this, and it's like, well, I wouldn't do that against that. So you feeding me that punch in this drill is not useful. Yeah. And I like to do drills where it may be that the defender has a Wusao, and maybe they don't sometimes, and like it's for you to determine whether you react to it or not. Rather than it being like repetition.
Yeah, and don't be too fixed on your drills. I don't believe that the only fixed drills in Wing Chun for me is Dan Chi Sao, Bong Lap Sao drill, and rolling arms in Chi Sao. There are no fixed drills. So what I tend to do is I tend to look at the class and I tend to get a warm up on their own. Right, just do some turning Tan Sao, turn some Bong Sao, do a bit of turning Pak Sao, yeah. And then I look around the class and I go, this is weak, that's weak. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. So what I then do is I just pick a couple of techniques. If you go down there, for example, and what I might say to them is, okay, training partner, you step in with a straight punch, Bong Sao again, Lap Sao again, Tan Sao again, Bong Sao again, Lap Sao again, Tan Sao, because it's those 3 techniques that I need to play. Next week, they'll go, what was that drill? And I'll go, what drill?
Yeah.
We did this drill. I have no idea. I have no idea what we did.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know? So next week, I'll look at see something else and say, throw a punch, Bong Sao, throw a punch, punch, throw a punch, Bong Sao, throw a punch, punch, throw a punch, and then I get them to get that Wusao, so it's boom, straight in.
Yeah.
I'll just pick on what I see in the drill and then link them together into something that I need for tonight.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten it next week.
Yeah. That's good.
Because it's not relevant. You know? Or I might say to them, do a high punch, do a low punch, boom, do a high punch, do a low punch, boom. You know? Yeah. Or I might go high punch, low punch, high punch, and then I'll alternate sides or something. But I just pick on a technique in my head and I go, oh, okay, this is what I can see. They're not very good at this. You know? Or it might be, and you come with one punch, Pak Sao entry. In one punch, boom, Pak Sao entry. In one punch, Pak Sao entry. And I'll just drill that down the hole, then it's the other person's turn. Yeah. Because that's what I saw was needed. And the reason why the Pak Sao entry was failing is because the hand was so far away that punch was always going to end up on the centre. You know, because they're bringing the Wusao back, or so depending on what I see is what my drill becomes.
It's a prescription for whatever's.
Yeah, exactly. You just if it's turning stance, you don't want them stepping at this point in time.
Yeah.
You know,
that's good.
Or if it's people doing stepping with the weights on the front leg, then you need to get them drilling. You know, whether they're drilling stepping back, whether they're drilling stepping forward, or whether they're the person punching. As you're drilling, you right in the back leg, right in the back leg. Why? Too close. Yeah. Next time it comes too close, punch them on the nose. And they step back. Yeah. Anyway, we haven't finished Biu Jee, have we? So we're here.
How much time have you got left? Sorry, I don't want to.
I've got to past.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, I think they're coming. I offset them by an hour, so. Funny enough, the guy that's coming, he's on crutch too. He's waiting for a knee replacement. Oh, no. He's bringing his lad, but he's PhD in teaching.
Oh wow!
So the thing you were talking about, he's probably written his thesis. He wrote his thesis on Wing Chun history actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but he's just finished doing a few teaching books and for University of Worcester and stuff. So yeah.
Have you heard of a guy called Ben Judkins?
I haven't, but he probably would have done it.
There's a book on Wing Chun by him. I can give you a copy if you like. So it's an academic text.
Okay, that'd be interesting.
It's the history of Wing Chun. Yeah, he came to Cardiff Uni and he did a talk on liminal versus liminoid stuff. It was really interesting. There's a martial arts conference there now and again. It's pretty good.
Okay. You should wait and meet Scott if you've got time. He's
sure.
He did a PhD on the true history of Wing Chun.
Okay.
The only reason I know that is because he was a student of a student of mine, and he's now coming direct. But the university, when he was doing his PhD, when he submitted his thesis, the university reached out to me and went, "Yeah, we found you, and would you sit on the board for this thesis?" And I went like, "Wow, I do know him." And they were like, "Well, you're not marking him academically; you're marking him the accuracy of his work on the Wing Chun side." So I actually was the reason was the person on the board for his PhD, because it's like they were like, "We don't know," and it's really really interesting. He's written obviously a published thesis, but yeah, he's very 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 overly intelligent.
Okay.
He's bringing his lad down about 15 minutes after. Okay. So we were here. So we've done the Mun Sao. So it was like 1, relax, 2, relax, 3, cover, Hun Sao, back, Hun Sao, back, Hun Sao, back. So make the timing right at the point where you almost stop your turn. That's the Hun Sao return, as opposed to all the way through the turn.
Yeah. I noticed Sifu does like technique A, let's say, and then on the last one I think he does Like the.
I do it all the way through, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I like the way you do it, so that's what I'm going to try and do.
As long as in your mind you know what you're achieving.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we repeat the other side. Okay, from there, Biu.
Is it left?
So it's left Biu up the centre. Okay.
And it's the Wusao.
No, from there, and then you so it's literally relax, Biu from the floor, place the hand, and remember there's your centre line. But by the time you finish, there's your centre line. So you're actually stealing the centre line back, and as you do, push and pull. Don't just push. Most people drive that forward powerfully, and this one's like got nothing. It's push and pull. If I'm here, if someone's got hold of you, and you just push, you know,
Sorry,
you just push, you'll get trapped.
Yeah.
If you push and pull, they're gonna want to let go.
Yeah, I get you.
Because if they don't, they get poked in the face.
Yeah.
So it's definitely push and pull, push and pull, push and pull. Turn, drop the elbow in to give body cover before you do that spade hand.
Sorry, and this is that side.
Yeah, to the side. But the key, a lot of people chop. So if you think about it, you're out here. So one of the things you're doing is body cover, but one of the things you're doing is a strike.
Yeah.
So you're doing both. Can't just be a strike because we never just hit without cover.
Yeah.
So the cover from here is that turning it in. Provide safety from a point of safety or strike, as opposed to slotting, which is what I see a lot of.
Oh, I did something else then.
Isn't it?
Is it Chang there as well?
It's Chang. That's it.
And then.
So pass, do it again. You're there. That's it. So just make sure that as you're doing it, you effectively rolling this arm in, relax to there, and then drive it so you can.
Great.
That's it.
Okay.
Because what you basically want is when you turn, you want cover. Do it again. Or to know you don't need it.
Okay.
So you don't need to turn the hand too much. It just comes in ready, drive.
Right.
But the elbow's coming in. So you can even have the palm ready more. And don't turn it flat. You can have it there vertically.
Okay.
You're just rolling that arm into a body cover, and then when you don't need the body cover, you launch. If you did need the body cover, you do something with it. So again, you can always train things on the dummy that you don't think you can train. You mun sao, jump sao,
Yeah.
mun sao, jump sao, mun sao, mun sao. You can just practice mun sao here.
Is it at this point potentially a jump sao?
Yeah, you're passing through a point of safety.
I know the names don't mean anything, but it's like that. Jump.
Jump's good technique.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay.
So in one of our assessments, for example, we're in, so we've had 2 or 3. We punch, we'll get them to jump to here. And then what we get them to do is to drive forward with the same punch. So we turn, and that still jumps out, but then that presents that weakness, which is why we come back.
Yeah.
Which in Chun is what this movement's about here.
Yeah.
It's about recovering. I think on this one. It's the same concept. Rolling the arm in first to give body cover before you decide what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's all this is. It covers, come it through, pass through that centre point, give yourself body cover, and then you launch it. So you don't pause, so you don't stop and then do it.
Yeah.
You just pass through a point of safety, which is always important.
What did that follow? That was Biu
There. Yes, it's Biu.
So then I guess you do 3 Bius starting with the right then, is it?
Yep.
Right.
So one.
Sorry, after this.
From there, mun sao, jump sao.
And then,
That's it. Okay, then it's right Biu. Relax. 1, 2,
and 3.
3.
No, surely I've done that wrong there.
You probably cut to the other side. That's it. 1, 2. Actually 3. Definitely 3. So it starts left first. 1, 2, 3 to your left hand side. One side jumps out, and then it's right. 1, 2, 3.
Left.
One.
So that whole chunky counting, I remember. 1. So I've kept
First one is just the starting point.
0.
1, 2, 3. Roll and cut. Drive through. Jumps out. Jumps out. Down view, and then right hand repeat.
I'll bring that back to
Yes, fine.
fist there.
Sure, that's the same size you just twice. I'll do it with you. But here, left first, drive. 1, 2, 3, cut. Mutton style, Chun style, palm view. Right, 1, 2, 3. Mutton style, Chun style, palm view.
Yeah.
Okay, okay with that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Last one, relax, relax, drive, turn to about 45, you can turn a little bit more. Same roll in, but this is actually rolling in and it's an uppercut. It's kind of coming here,
Yeah.
but it's also rolling into your body cover before we do it. So it's called Chow Kun. Chow Kun is your rising punch,
Yeah.
not a hook.
Yeah.
So there, drive, turn, uppercut, toxan, and then again out, turn, drive, toxan, and then this last weird one, which is that down, relax, just relax the shoulders. 1, 2, 3. This is the important one to me. It's got regaining that posture by bending the knees underneath, so the hands drive left, 2, 3, 4, 5. And close. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
All there is. You got any questions?
I might make notes and questions after I review that and kind of
That's
piece
fine.
it together in my head later.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And again, a lot of these things you can train like just again, your double gansai you can train on here.
Yeah.
You know, just easily from here. Mung Sao. Just get that cover for your palm striking. There's lots of little things that you can interact with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you need?
That's
For
it.
now?
Yeah. We've got time for cheese out before.
Yeah, of course. All yours.
Ah.
You know, overextending your shoulder. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Over rotated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I have to is keep my hand there,
Yeah.
and you're trying to turn it too much. If you're going to do the low bong sao, you've got to bring the forearm with you.
Right.
Okay.
What did I do that in response to? I can't remember.
I just pressed into here.
Oh.
But what I did was I felt that was forwarding, so I cut it in, and instead of moving the body out of the way, you try to use the elbow to turn. But because I'm going to your ribs, it starts to put pressure.
Yeah. So should be more there.
Yeah. Or move back from it.
Yeah.
Just don't want to put your shoulder at risk.
No.
But if you're going to play guitar. You okay?
Yeah.
If I'm relaxed, I can hear your breathing going up.
That's tense.
Yeah. Again, don't worry about getting through, worry about feeling what occurs.
Yeah.
So what's that shape? Go back. What's that shape doing for you?
Sorry?
What's that shape doing for you?
This one here. I'm trying to not let you strike with that.
Okay. Doing the work. So
what should I be doing here then?
okay, well, that's a fixed length bone. Okay, and I'm trapping, I'm not hitting you.
So we're trying to get to that side of it somehow.
Yeah, so remember you said about lifting the long tail? Okay.
Ah, yeah.
You know, or even just drive land style forward.
Yeah.
Give yourself a bridge.
You did this with me the first time I came here, actually.
Because at the end of the day, we're not trying to hit each other in Chi-Sao, we're trying to learn how to not get hit.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
easier said than done.
Yeah. That's it. You know, and if let's go back to it. If I'm here, you lift your elbow, and you find me resisting,
Yeah.
do it again. That's Biu Jee.
Ah, of course. As long as I'm getting to this side, so you can't hit me with that so easy, I suppose.
Yeah. So it's getting behind that elbow and just trying to deflect them away from the problem. So that's all it is in Chi-Sao. It's about playing a game of learning, walking away with more than you had last time you played.
That happens a lot. So, you're using cup jump, or maybe it's called
Because you're pressing forward.
Yeah.
You press forward a lot and you lean forward to try and get in. It's given me that
Yeah.
ability to roll.
That disengagement there, that's what I'm noticing. I need to be more ready to do the bong all around, I suppose.
So you rolled from tarn to bong to tarn and didn't turn once.
No.
So if I know if I stay on the centre when you're thinking about where to go, it causes you lots of problems. Okay, so if you're going to go to tarn, that's fine, but turn and maybe do it again. Turn that to think once out because that's going to keep that out.
Yeah.
Because when you turn just to tarn, it gives you the problem of this.
Yeah.
The moment you turn the bongs at the same time, you're taking both hands out
Is
of
that
play.
too far this way at the moment though? Or
For the position you're in, no. I mean, if you stood there too long, yeah. Yeah. But there, you're safe. No, I'm obviously I want to try and get there. So you were talking about whether you could do that before.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't get away with that. You'd feel it. So what I do is I do that because that's less likely to come forward because I'm not taking my hand off it. I cover it.
Because
That's almost a lance out to me, you see.
Yeah.
So I go, okay.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd get on the inside. I wouldn't try and do that because you're ready for that.
Yeah, but I guess that's where my focus goes as well, and that's
Yeah.
part of the game, isn't it? Is
Yeah.
not getting
But
distracted.
psychologically, that's what I want. So
Yeah.
I'll be moving these fingers, I'll be pointing the hand, I'll be looking at it. I want you to focus on that.
Yeah.
I don't want you to focus on this.
Yeah.
And that's where I think psychology plays a massive part in what we do.
So much.
I can distract you with, oh, you know, I'm going to press that, no I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, and then that comes forward, boom, and I've got centre.
Yeah.
You know, then when that comes in here, I want to trap.
I'm done.
And it's that little play.
Yeah.
If you go too fast and furious, and sometimes you go too fast and furious, you're missing.
Yeah.
No, don't. But there's a time and a place. Learning isn't the place.
Yeah.
Learning is where you slow it down and you look at everything you've got and you go, okay, from there, where can I go? What can I do? If I, it's question and answer. You ask your physical question, what happens if? Boom, and then you see what the reply is.
Yeah.
And then you put it to your arsenal if you like it, and you go, oh, okay. So you can feel an answer.
Yeah.
So instead of fighting it off and going, oh yeah, but I could, just for a second feel it, because you might use it one day.
Yeah. That's true.
And then now you've felt it, destroy it.
From here. Oh yeah.
You could do it, but go back. What stops you opening that hand, pressing down with the wrist and driving forward with the elbow at the same time, knowing you've got a cover here? So if I come forward, so what?
Yeah, that's good.
When you slow these things down.
So taking that elbow, I need to make sure that my elbow's going forward as well.
Yeah, but if you think where I was somewhere about here, wasn't I? Mm-hmm. I was there. I pushed you into a corner.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can turn.
No.
So what you do is you do a sharp, but don't press down too far, press forward as well. Because you want to collapse that into it. Drop the elbow a little bit more. There. So it's now taking both hands.
I see.
Only leaves with this hand.
I don't want to scoop it, I want to pin it to you, I guess, is that?
If I come forward, yeah, scoop and turn. Oh, of course you would.
Right.
But you couldn't do it from before.
No.
So what you do is you slow it down a little bit and you go, okay, so I'm here, so what? get to that position, okay, put your hand out the way again, go back out where it was there a second ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so rather than going, oh yeah, but I could go into here, okay, what does this look like to you?
Like a wrist grab.
So how do you do it? Yeah. So now go back. Why do you do it differently?
Yeah.
You've already got that in your toolkit.
Sorry if I'm being a bit sort of
No.
erratic.
What I want you to do is I want you to slow it down so it becomes a learning
Yeah.
rather than a doing. Okay, because that's how you get the benefit rather than trying to beat anything. So you do a technique, you see what happens. Okay, now what can you do from there? You can trap, right? But do it again. That's what I'm going to do. So what does that tell you need to do?
Maybe step with it to get to the
Yeah.
outside.
Or just retract that into a lap sound more. There. Okay, because if you don't do it, if it's fast, it'll always get a trap on it. Okay, so you think about the next one. You know, and if you do a little bit of a lap sound to there, rather than worrying about range and hit, see how you pulling my arm across, see how vulnerable that elbow is. Practice on the elbow and drop it.
So
there you go. Now come in with a palm strike on it, there, because that allows you to get closer. You're always going to stay a bit like, oh, we shouldn't be hitting. But this, you can always get in there, and there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Where the equivalent of a punch, people just going, I'm not trying to you anymore. So you get, I don't think. How controlled do you feel now?
Yeah.
As opposed to,
Yeah. I use my palms more, definitely.
yeah, because it encourages people to stay closer.
Yeah.
That's what you want. You don't want to hit anybody.
No.
You don't want to be hit.
No.
Okay, so you can feel that. So I'm going to open it up. That's when Biu Jee works. If you did Tarn, I'd be in.
Yeah. I can feel it.
Okay, but you see how you're stretching?
I am, because
So if you're stretching, why have you left that hand low? That hand wants to come up as a Tarn at the same time. Because you want me on the outside gate, don't you?
yeah.
But here I'm on the inside. Yeah.
I feel like I'm open on the inside there then. I feel like vulnerable.
So how far out do you need to go to make it work?
Well, that far, I guess.
Probably not even that far. Now if that was me, I'd be into the shoulder.
Okay.
Because now you've neutralised the whole reach. Don't mean to turn now.
So here, I mean, there I was kind of locked out a little bit. Is that okay? Should I still try and have that?
Ideally, but you know, it's going to come down how long their arms are.
Yeah.
But I know if I'm here, you punch.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder for you to get that punch in place because I'm not even letting you roll your shoulder forward. So it's not like you're here, you get the lead on it, I stop it there.
Yeah.
And it's just that 1 inch, just that one, and then I'm in.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. But then, to defend against that, I'll treat it like a
Yeah.
because I've already got it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. So if I am there, and you do go for the wrist grab defense kind of thing, I just need to be ready for the whatever it's happy, I guess.
Yeah. But if this doesn't work, that'll come in. Yeah. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack into the elbow. Because when I attack into the elbow, it brings you in. If you're grabbing and your focus is there, attack into the elbow, it brings you within that range. So I don't have to go reaching for it.
Yeah.
You know, so if you put your hand on mine and grab and hold it, and I try and hit, don't let me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But if I pull in, you're already on it.
Yeah.
Because you move to me.
Yeah.
Where if you feel me move to you, you react.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
If I do that, stop it. If I do that, it's a lot harder to do. Get the elbow into it because you pull in, and if you pull in, that shoulder goes back. If that shoulder goes back, it's not very good at controlling the same manner because it wants to be structured.
Yeah.
So I take away the structure. That's simple.
Yeah. Not that easy though.
So if you slow it down, you learn more.
Yeah.
So there's a time and a place to. I always say to people, if you're playing Chi Sao with your equal and you just want to play Chi Sao, what you do is great. If you want to learn from it, you've got to step away from that.
Yeah.
You know, it's the saying, if you always do what you always did, you're always going to get what you always got.
Yeah. No, I think Chris and I we have Chi Sao that's more frenetic, and we have Chi Sao that's more calm.
Yeah.
We've got a good relationship with it. We know what we want from the experience.
But calm is where you learn.
Yeah.
Frenetic is where you apply what you learned.
Yeah. And because Tris's class is still, relatively it's also empower people. I'm not like that with them at all. Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
So, but if you want to, the more you want to learn, the more you want to get into analytical mode, questioning mode.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I did this. What would you do? Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
As opposed to.
Yeah. No, we do stop and go, what happened there? We do analyse it.
Yeah.
Tris and
But
I.
that's the best way to learn.
Definitely. I don't want to. I feel like I have been on a plateau for a long time, so
Yeah, you want to.
I want to get out of that.
Yeah.
plateau.
And the best way to get out of it will actually be to slow it down and think more about what we talked about, structure. Okay? So if I come into pack cell, that pack cell shouldn't move your hand. Okay, what I want you to relax, and I want you to just do a little muscle twitch there, and get used to doing it when you're not when I'm not expecting it, and you're not expecting it. And then, having done that, your question should be, what can I do now? Boom. And there you go, and you start taking those moments.
People don't pack out like you in football in South Wales.
Well, maybe you should do it to them and see what happens.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that.
Warming it now. Good. The boss in there, yeah, no issues then. Doc's right there.
Yeah, I'll say hello. Yeah. So, what's his studies in? What's his pedagogy or something?
No, he's probably got to tell you.